It's the end of the week, and so it's time to take out the trash. Thank you again to Brett for making that way back when. Brett, who is your garbage person of the week?
Believe it or not, my garbage person of the week is Stephen Jane Crowder. Stephen Crowder is a garbage person who decided on his show that as the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is underway to determine whether the guy should go to prison for shooting people and killing them. This is a story where people died. And Stephen Crowder decided to really analyze that by having a Kyle Rittenhouse challenge, as he calls it, where he has a game where he reenacts the killings and tries to see whether a guy can shoot a Nerf arrow at someone's bicep. Just watch it. It's horrible.
Right. So what we are going to do here is place four people right there, Tokenawan, in the same scenario that Kyle Rittenhouse found himself.
Right.
And see if they're able to make this shot in the bicep. So who is first? Who's going to go first?
Here we can bring in our
Antifa, Black Lives Matter thugs. Yeah. You guys come on in.
Come on in.
Take your positions. In 3, 2. All right, skateboard his head. Brain thee. Okay, boom, bow. Okay, clear malfunction. Now go. See if you can get in the bicep. Nope, you missed. He missed.
Rioters lose, or rioters win is what he says. Yeah, so everything about this is absolute and total garbage. It's this instinct that just by being terrible, you're somehow hilarious. It's dismissive, sure. But I mean, if you want to do the actual Kyle Rittenhouse challenge, you start in Illinois, you ride a bus for a very long time, can you still believe that it is a good idea to go to Wisconsin? Is it still a good idea to buy a weapon you are not old enough to possess? Is it then still a good idea to go try to find camaraderie? Like, can you still be confident in yourself as a person to find camaraderie in this weird militia movement where you're gonna go shoot at people who are upset that somebody was killed?
Yep.
And then you're going to provoke folks, and then you're going to get, like, is this fun for you? You never should be in that position. And this is just Stephen Crowder trying to put this into the framing of a conversation. The only thing you should be focused on in the Kyle Rittenhouse case is whether anyone could actively shoot someone's bicep instead of killing them in a moment. He didn't just find himself on the floor there. So many things go into the Kyle Rittenhouse challenge besides just, all right, we find our hapless protagonist in the middle of a street as he's being attacked by a skateboarder. That's not what happened. That's why you're garbage. And I think Kyle Rittenhouse is going to get off scot-free with everything but a weapons charge.
Yeah,
I believe that. I think that's going to be what happens. It still makes you garbage, buddy.
100%. No, he's actual garbage. It's just like he will say whatever he is able to work up the courage to say. I want you to think about what Stephen Crowder would be saying on his show if he was broadcasting in 1963. Think about what his segments would be there, what he wishes he had the bravery, the freedom to actually say. But yeah, he's actual garbage. So I actually don't want to talk about it anymore. He's just actual garbage. Anyway, let's move on to this. My garbage person of the week is going to be, and it hasn't been for a while, Joe Biden actually, and his administration. Because the United States has announced a $650 million sale of air-to-air missiles to Saudi Arabia in what would be the Biden administration's first major weapons deal with the Gulf Kingdom. What's exciting about that is that sale comes months after President Joe Biden said he would end US support for Saudi Arabia's offensive operations in Yemen, including relevant arms sales. And in fact, back in November of 2020, he said that his administration would reassess the US relationship with Saudi Arabia, which he called a pariah. He also said the US would not sell more weapons to the country. So the more recent thing about not helping their offensive operations against Yemen could, and we'll have to see, be true in this case. These are air-to-air missiles. I can't imagine what is left in the air in Yemen for them to be used against after the devastation Saudi Arabia has unleashed on Yemen over years. But he also just said, we're not selling them weapons. And he has 100% gone back on that to the tune of $650 million. By the way, they also finished a $500 million helicopter maintenance deal with Saudi Arabia back in September. So that's another thing that I guess just has changed. Maybe they're hoping people won't pay attention to it, they won't notice it, but it's there and we know what he said in the past.
We're number one, dude. We're just number one.
That is true. We are. No, it's absolutely horrendous. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna end up using those missiles for. I have a feeling it will probably not advance international stability or our values, but it will profit the companies that make the missiles.
I feel like they're just gonna sit there unused until we have to make new ones to replace them.
Probably. Yeah, a maintenance deal that we'll have in a couple of years. Well, that's my garbage person and Brett's, but what about you? Well, 32,000 of you, it is always 32,000, by the way, isn't that weird? 32,000 of you voted on our community tab, and coming in at number 5 with 5% of the vote is Laura Ingram for suggesting Christopher Columbus discrimination drove voters in New Jersey. What a dumb thing to say. Number 4 with 13% of the vote is Lauren Boebert for trying and failing to make fun of Greta Thunberg. God, that was embarrassing. Number 3, I'm losing myself, with 19% of the vote is Senator Richard Burr for using insider COVID info to make money. I like the audience prioritizing the corruption stories. Number 2 with 24% of the vote is Elon Musk for pretending to care about poor people. You'll notice he hasn't said anything more about that plan of his. But the number 1 garbage person of the week with 40% of the vote is the mainstream media for blaming progressives for Dem losses. Sometimes I disagree with you, but I like it. Thank you, Dragon Squad. Any thoughts, Brett?
It's so lazy. It's so pathetic. The biggest lie people are telling right now is that Joe Manchin's a moderate because they're lazy and they're blaming cancel culture and wokeness. And that is, those things exist, but what they're complaining about is not what's happening right now.
100%. Thank you to everyone who voted, by the way.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.